Hello, learner. Welcome to Mr. Quakers Teaches. I am Mr. Quakers. In this lesson, I'll be analyzing Katherine Phillips' poem, A Married State. Now, this poem is part of the 15 poems in your GCSE or IGCSE anthology. And this analysis is part of a course that contains analysis of all 15 of the individual poems that also includes predicted questions and also sample A star or grade 9 essays. Now, the course you can access for only £5 a month in subscription, or you can buy the entirety of the course for £45 a year. So that means you get to save 3 months or £15 in subscription. So you can gain access to it, and the usefulness of the grades 9 or A star quality essays that you can look at a sample essay and sort of mimic what you should write in the essays if you're looking to achieve, a good grade. Because some students have a fair understanding of the analysis of prose, whatever, but they're unable to present their information in written form, and that's where the A star or the grade 9 quality essay comes in. Now, additionally, at Mr. Quakers Teaches, we also provide tuition services as well. So for the other components of the English literature, so the unseen paper, the drama, the prose, and also we have sessions as well, both group session and one-on-one sessions about poetry and the rest. We also provide tuition as well in the other subjects of the GCSE or IGCSE, so English language, geography, history, sociology, math, the sciences. So in fact, you can make Mr. Quakers Teaches the one-stop shop for all your needs, at your exams, the GCSE or the IGCSE, if you're writing it internationally. So you can do that. Now, additionally, if you want to reach out to me directly, maybe you have a question or an inquiry, or you want to, just ask any questions, you can send an email to me, and the email address is mrq@mrquakersteaches.com. mrq@mrquakersteaches.com, or you can send me an email to me. You can send the email to mrquakersteaches@gmail.com. So, like you see written nicely on the screen. Now, additionally, you can leave comments on any of my social media handles where you find this analysis, and then I'll reach out to you and I'll respond to you and see how best to help you make sure that you ace your exams. Let's begin the analysis. Now, let's start by speaking about the poet Katherine, or Katherine with a K or with a C, Phillips. So she was formerly Fowler before she was married. She was born either on the 1st of January 1631 or 1632. I couldn't be certain. And then she died on the 22nd of August 1664. She's also known as the Matchless Oranda. That's the name that was given to her. She was an Anglo-Welsh, English and Welsh royalist poet, translator, and a woman of letters. Phillips achieved renown as a translator of Pierre Corneille's Pompey and Horace, and for her editions of poetry after her death. She was highly regarded by many notable later writers, including George Dryden and then John Keats, as being very, very influential. So that's like a brief note on the poet. You can do a bit more digging on her background. Now, this is how the poem appears, A Married State by Katherine Phillips. So this analysis, this is how it appears, it's 16 lines, but in terms of a summary of the poem essentially is about this speaker, possibly a spinster, or I'm not sure, who is trying to persuade other people not to get married. So that essentially is what we see in the poem. Now, let me begin my analysis by reading the poem, A Married State by Katherine Phillips. A married state affords but little ease. The best of husbands are so hard to please. This in wives' careful faces you may spell, though they dissemble their misfortune well. A virgin state is crowned with much content. It's always happy as it's innocent. No blustering husbands to create your fears, no pangs of childbirth to extort your tears, No children's cries for to offend your ears. Few worldly crosses to distract your prayers. Thus, are you freed from all the cares that do attend on matrimony, and a husband too? Therefore, madam, be advised by me, turn apostate to love's levity. Suppress wild nature if she dare rebel. There is no such thing as leading apes in hell. Now, the poem opens with an argument against marriage. So the speaker opens the poem with a negative in your face claim about marriage. She says, a married state affords but little ease. So essentially, she's saying that being married equals having no rest or time for idleness, because married women will always be busy with chores. That essentially is what we see in the first line. Then she gives a reason for it, why they're always busy. She says, the best of husbands are so hard to please. Now, observe the use of the word so. The word so there is an adverb that, modifies or describes the word hard, which is an adjective. So it sort of amplifies it and says, see, it's extremely so hard. I can just hear it in the person's voice, because remember, they're trying to persuade somebody to remain a spinster. Now, this is a claim that even if a woman marries the quintessential essentially means perfect. So if you marry the best of husbands, even those people are extremely hard to please. So how much more if you marry an imperfect husband? Because in any case, which husband is perfect? So essentially, she's trying to tell them that, even if you marry the best of men, you can't please them. Men are difficult to please. So you cannot satisfy the man's needs and wants. Essentially, I think that's the claim that she's trying to make it. So the first thing here we see is the husband as being the problem with getting married. Then she continues and provides evidence that marriage is terrible. Now, she uses the word this in the third line, which is a pronoun, for a claim that she's made in line 1 and line 2. So essentially, line 1 and line 2, essentially, she just uses the word this. Or, the fact that men are hard to please, this. Now, while in the wife's careful faces suggests that the facial appearances of married women expose their worries. So when you look at the women's faces, you can clearly see that they are worried. It's not something that is hidden. The word careful there essentially means full of cares. So full of responsibilities, duties, things that ought to be done. Then we also see the use of the second person pronoun you as well in the third line. Now that creates the impression that this speaker is speaking directly to someone. So most likely a spinster, someone who is unwed, to convince her to remain unmarried. Because you see, you can this in wise careful faces so she's speaking directly, and in a way, she's also speaking to any reader as well who is a spinster, who isn't married. Now, the phrase misspelled suggests that it is possible for a spinster to see the struggles of marriage if she looks at the faces of married women. So you can spell it. Spell is an old variant of the word, or that means observe. So if you observe married women's faces, you can see this. And the fourth line, she says, though they dissemble their misfortune well. Now this is really, really critical, because she's trying here to claim that married women masterfully hide their struggles in marriage. They deliberately hide their struggles, so they dissemble it well. So this dissemble misfortune, think about it. She's using the word misfortune to describe marriage. So being married means you have a misfortune. So something hard, something disastrous. So this dissemble their misfortune well also suggests that married women pretend in order to hide the calamitous and disastrous nature of marriage. But if you look at their faces, you can see it, but they try to hide it very well. Katherine Phillips' poem, A Marriage State, has been simplified. Like I mentioned in the opening of the analysis, this analysis is part of a course that you can subscribe to for only £5 a month or £45 a year. That means you get to save 3 months in subscription. And the course contains analysis of all the 15 poems, predicted questions for each of the poems, and also sample A-star or grade 9 essays. Now, additionally, at Mr. Quaker's Teachers, we also provide tuition services as well, because we have a number of teachers, a league of teachers with many years of experience. So we help with the other components of the English literature, like the prose, the drama, the unseen paper, and also the poetry as well if you need further help. Additionally, we also provide assistance or tuition in the other subjects: English language, history, geography, sociology, the sciences, math. We have teachers who are very experienced helping you, especially as the exam draws closer, with past papers, practice, how to manage your time, how to answer questions, formulas, and the rest to make sure that you ace your exams. And the first lesson is a trial lesson. So essentially, it means that it's free. If you join the lesson and you see how it works, and you want to stick and stay, that's beautiful. So that is the assistance that we provide at Mr. Quickest Teaches, and we build your confidence to make sure that you ace the exam. In fact, I've been teaching now for 18 years, since 2008, and I've seen that improving or growing the confidence of a student makes them sometimes move 2 or even 3 grades up. And that's what we do at Mr. Quickest Teaches. We look at what you can do and then help to look for ways to improve it very quickly and make sure that you ace your exam. So if you also want to reach out to me, you have any questions, you can send an email to me, either to mrq@mrquickestteaches.com or to mrquickestteaches@gmail.com, and then I'll reach out to you. Or you can also leave your questions on the comments field of any of the social media handles where you find this analysis, and I'll reach out to you and see how best to help you ace your exams. Thank you for joining the analysis today. On to the next lesson. Bye-bye.